Hey, hi, and good day to you, and welcome to this lunchtime session with Dublin Coding School. So today we're going to be looking at the coding language of Python and explaining what that is and what it's used for. And this is in preparation for our Python course. We're going to be we have now a new course, which is a short course, which runs for 5 weeks, starting in November, and then it'll be going again in the new year. Basically, it's the Python Fundamentals course. So I'm delighted to be joined by Dipali Phutane, who is the full stack web development lead at Rent the Runway, and also a lecturer here at Dublin Coding School, and lectures in full stack web development, but also lectures in Python. Hi, how are you doing, Dipali? How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Luke?
Great. Thank you very much for joining us today. So listen, Dipali is going to give a short presentation, an introduction to what Python is, and then give an example, an actual live example of some Python in action, I believe. So if you are watching this live on Facebook and you have a question, please type it into the bottom and we will get to all the questions at the end. And also, maybe if you're watching the recording of this, you didn't get a chance to watch it live, you can email us a question and I will get back to you with the answer afterwards. And we'll be giving you the email addresses at the end of the broadcast. So Dipali, I'd like to hand over to you. You can maybe get on with the start of the presentation and let everyone know what is Python.
Yeah, thank you, Luke. Okay, so to get started, we'll go over introduction of Python, like what exactly Python is, where do we use it, and like how the Python code looks like. So unlike other programming languages, so Python is not a front-end focused language or a back-end focused language. Python is a general programming language using which we can perform a wide range of tasks. So we can create a front-end application using Python. So there are a number of applications that we can create using Python. So Python was first created in 1919 by a developer based in Netherlands. And it's interesting that the name comes from a TV series called Monty Python's Flying Circus. So the name is usually gets a lot of attention. So it's not based on Snake Python. So it's based on a TV series. So who exactly uses Python? So these companies that are listed here, so Google, all the social platforms, social network platforms, so Google, Facebook, Instagram, even Netflix, Quora, Dropbox, Reddit, Spotify, even NASA, Intel, and Pixar. So all of these companies, so they have their different operations. So Google has its own products, so like maybe the search engine, the Gmail, even YouTube. So all of them uses Python for some or the other purposes. So mainly, and even in case of Pixar, so they use Python to create multimedia and animation applications. So we'll get to each and every type of application that we can create or develop using Python. When we say Python is a general programming language, that means we can do anything and everything literally using Python. So these are few of the application types that we have listed here that we can develop using Python. So starting with web development. So even if Python is not a front-end focused programming language, so for a core programming language, we usually go for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But even with Python, we can create a web development application using few packages that Python has. But to get to any of these applications, or to start with any of these applications, a person should get to know the basics of Python. So once we know the basics of Python, we can develop each and every one of these applications. So to start with web development. So using Python, we can create a web development application where we can create a GUI, a graphical user interface, so that the application that we create using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So without doing all of these, we can use a package in Python and create a web development application. So same goes with game development. So we can even create a gaming application using Python. And most famous, so the reason most famous Python is these days is for data analytics. So for data analytics, knowing Python is kind of knowing a language in communication. So even at NASA, Python is used for creating scientific and numeric applications. So that's the best example or best use case of using Python in a real industry. Also, in artificial intelligence and machine learning, or rather data science. So even in those applications, knowing Python is must have a skill that a developer needs to have. Also, like using Python, we can create a desktop application. So to create a desktop application, there are various traditional ways, but using the packages that are available in Python, we can even create a desktop application using Python. Rather, like enterprise level applications and business applications are created using Python. So another good example can be IBM. So in IBM, the Python is used to create these types of application. So there is no limit, or there is no categorization of only these applications are created using Python. So for example, in case of let's say React, so using React we can only create a web development application. Or let's say in case of Java, we can create a backend development application, because they are developed for having a focus on a particular domain, a backend application or a front end application or a scripting application. But Python is general purpose application. So using that, we can even create education programs or training programs. Also, because Python is an open source language, so what do we mean by open source? So open source is open source language is something whose code base is available, and that language is free to use. So we can directly start using the language. And because it is an open source, we can even use Python to create another new programming language. So there are various examples where using Python language, there are various programming languages that are developed already, that are already in the market. Another most interesting type of application, or rather I would say famous type of application that we get to see, or that we get to hear these days, is web scraping application. So what exactly web scraping application is? So with the use of social media applications, we have huge amount of data. So let's say if we get to an example where, so let's say we have Twitter. So on Twitter, we see that there are hashtags trending every day or every week. So using Python, we can write an application that based on some keyword or based on some hashtag, we can get to a point. We can write Python application where we can do a sentiment analysis. So we can get to a point, or we can know that this trending hashtag. So what are the sentiments of the people who are tweeting using the same tweet? So is it positive? Is it negative? Or is it hopeful? So based on like what kind of analysis do we want to carry out, we can do that using Python. So like Python is easiest language to develop such kind of application. And even the social media platforms like Facebook, or maybe Google, or maybe LinkedIn, or Instagram. So these companies in itself also uses Python to to develop different kinds of tools. So even for creating content moderation tools, or rather like even influencers, so even they can write applications to know what type of users they are reaching, so what reach they are getting. And so there's a vast variety of data points that we can collect and we can process. And so to do all of these things, so Python is one of the easiest programming language that we can use to get to this point. And also in previous slide, when we were talking about Pixar, so image processing and graphic design applications is one of the major applications, or one of the major uses of Python in these type of application is there. So that using the packages in Python, so if we know the basics of Python, there are various packages are there that are available. So using those packages, we can write the applications that that will be used for creating even animations. Okay. So then we can get to a point where like we have been hearing about Python all the time. So and more importantly, when we say a programming language, so for a beginner, it's always this question, right? So is it difficult or is it easy? Or how complex is this programming language that I'm like hearing about? So can I do it? So can I learn it? So this is my personal opinion that out of all the programming languages that are available, Python is easiest language to learn, to use and implement, because this doesn't have a complex syntax to it. So in other programming languages, we have to get used to syntax first, like various types of like commas, brackets, and then like many different types of things. So where we need to use the syntax more than anything else. So we as a beginner who doesn't have much exposure to programming, they first have to know what these brackets means, or like what are their importance, or why do we need to use them, and then get to know about the basics of that particular programming language. But unlike other programming languages, Python is easier to learn because it comes with only fewer syntax that are only specific to Python. Other than that, the syntax of Python will be just English looking like English statements. So literally, so when we say I want to print something, so we just need to write print. Like we'll get to that point when we go for live coding example. But it is just like English looking code, English statements, that's it. So when we'll get to it, we'll see it more. But as a beginner, somebody doesn't need to know what exactly this particular special symbol means, or what exactly this particular keyword means, because the key, even if there are keywords that we will use in Python, those keywords will be plain English statements, or plain English keywords that we use in day-to-day language, the slangs that we use in day-to-day language. So it's as simple as that. And even so Python is an interpreted language. That means so there are few programming languages like C++, or Java, where we first need to write a code, then we need to do a step in between, which is called compile. We need to compile the code, and then we need to run a code. So like there are 3 steps that are involved from writing the code. So writing the code is the first, then compiling the code is the second step, and then we actually run the code. But Python doesn't have, or Python doesn't need a compiler. We can directly write the Python code, and then we can directly execute. So like it just like you write the code, and we can directly execute the code. So that's how like we don't need a compiler, because this is a interpreter based language. So there's interpreter that works with Python. So when we'll start with the course, we'll get to get into more details about what exactly interpreter is. But like long story short, when we write a Python code, we can directly execute it. So we don't have to worry about additional steps in between. And another important thing about Python is programming, platform agnostic programming language. That means, so when we write a Python code on, let's say, Windows machine today, and tomorrow I want to run the same code on maybe Linux machine, or maybe Mac machine. So we don't need to do any code changes. The same code will run on any platform. So so that's why we call it as platform agnostic programming language, because we don't have to worry about where exactly this code will be used. So for example, let's say if we write a program, or if we write an application using Python on Windows machine, and you want to circulate, or you want to make sure that this program or this application is used by any user in the world, irrespective of if they have a Mac machine, or if they have a Windows machine, or a Linux machine, or any kind of machine for that matter. So we don't have to worry about that, or we don't have to take into that consideration. So that way, like again, so this is another like best example, or best feature of Python that makes it easier for developers to write code once, and then that's it. So the application will be application can be used anywhere across. Okay, so maybe let's get to a point where let's go to so to write a Python program on your local machine. First we need to
Oh, great. Sorry, Dipali, just to say, so that's brilliant roundup. So just to sort of summarize, so you're saying it's quite an easy coding language to understand because it's based around just the English language and not different symbols and mathematical things like that.
exactly.
So I just want to just to say to everyone again, if you do have a question, please type it in and we'll get to it at the end, because I believe now what Dipali is going to do is give us actually a live example of Python. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant. Okay, so look, we'll get to the live example and then we might have a few questions at the end. So I'll hand back to you, Dipali, now to show us what it looks like.
Yeah. So usually if we want to write the Python program on your local computer, we need to download Python and we need to like set it up for the first time. But let's say if you want to write program like Python program anyway, if you are temporary on a computer where you can't really install Python, so for that we have few online Python consoles that we can use, where they provide a console. So here we have a console. So as if this is, so this web application or this web page already has Python installed in it. So we can directly start writing code here. So like we don't have to worry about installing Python and then running the code. Okay, so these kinds of console is easiest way or easiest it saves time if you want to practice Python like on the go. So instead of setting up everything and writing code, you can directly come to these consoles. We can write code and we can practice. Okay, so usually every Python every Python file will have some name, some file name, as we create a file in the so like without going more into details, so let's say when we create a Python file, so Python file extension is .py. So for example, when we create a Word file, so we have the extension as .docx or .doc. When we create a PPT, we can see the extension as .pptx or .ppt. So similarly, we can recognize Python file with the extension .py. So py stands for Python. So here we have main.py file. So this file is like this is a starter file. So this is file that is already created. So this is our playground now. So we can start writing our code here. And before we start, so let's say before writing the code, we want to write what exactly this code is about or what exactly this program is about. So there's a way to make some notes. So let's say we want to make some notes in the program while we write it. So we can use a comment. So the comment in Python starts with hash. So after, if we start writing something with hash, so anything followed by hash in Python is a comment. Comment as in, so it is those statements, or it is that code which will not be executed by Python. So this is just a mental note for us. So this is just a note for developers, so that when we come back at this code at some point of time, we know that, okay, so this is what this code is about. Or for that matter, like anything that we want not to run, or any part of code that we want to stay as it is, but Python shouldn't read it. So we write that everything using like followed by a hash, and everything that comes after hash is code that is invisible for Python, but it is visible for us humans developers, just to know what exactly it is. So that's how, so this is how the comment looks like in Python. So comment is nothing but a note for us, which is like, so this note will be invisible for Python, but it is visible for us. And then like it's just for FYI for us, like just to, so we can write anything that we want. So let's say now we want to write a program. So we can write something like a program for adding two numbers. So let's say we want to write a program that will add two numbers. So let's say 10 and 20. So we want to write a Python program which will do addition of these two numbers, 10 plus 20. So this with this comment, with this statement followed by hash, we are making a note that what this program is about. So what exactly we are going to do right now. So we are going to add two numbers using Python. Okay. And okay, so even before that, so this program, so this main.py came with a default statement. So it came with a statement where we can see print and then some text. Okay, so as I already mentioned that Python is Python code looks similar to English statements. So by looking at this code or by looking at this statement, we can know that print and then some text, print hello world. That means we can guess that this will print something, right? So this will print hello world. So this hello world is some statement or some message that we are trying to print here using print functions. So print is nothing but printing something. And what exactly are we printing? We're printing a text called hello world. So if and in this console, so how this console works is, so if we click on run, so whatever code we have written on left part of the screen, we can see the output of this code onto the right part of the screen. So left part is all the code that we can write using Python, and right side of the screen is the output of the script that we have, or output of the program that we write using Python script. So now before writing anything, so we just added a comment. So this is just a note. So Python doesn't read this, like or Python doesn't mind this this line because we have added a comment. But we have a text or we have a statement which says print and hello world. So if we have a button here which is called run. So if we click on this button, the Python program that we have written on left side of the screen will execute, will run, and we can see the output on the right side of the screen. So if we click on run now, on right side, we can see the text is printed, which is called hello world. And even just by looking at the code without having a prior programming knowledge, anyone would have guessed that this will print the text hello world, because this is what we were trying to print here. And exactly same thing happened. So we can see the output as hello world. That's it, as simple as that. Okay, so if let's go back to a point where we want to add two numbers. Okay, we want to add two numbers and we want to print two numbers that we are adding. So let's say if we are adding 10 plus 20, we want to print that the result is 30, because user should know that what exactly is the output or what is the addition of two numbers. Okay, so we can simply say, so let's say now we want to add two numbers, but we want to get these two numbers from the user. So whatever user enters, we want to get two numbers from user and we want to print the addition of two numbers. So we want to get the input from the user. We want to get the numbers from the user. So even for that, we have a function in Python which is called input. So even this function is like self-explanatory, that it will need some input from user. So here we can say that enter first number, and then we need to store this first number somewhere. So let's say number 1 is the place where we will save the number that user will enter. Okay, and then to check if we have the number with us that user has entered, we can print and check that if the number that user, or we can rather say you have entered. So user should also know that if user entered the right number, so we can say you have entered, and then we can specify the number that user has entered, number 1. So let's go baby steps. So first let's run and check if it accept, if it asks user to enter the first number, and then again at the same time let's check if the entered number is correct. Okay, so because we are the user here, right? So let's input something and let's check if this is the correct number we have entered. So if we run here again, so it says enter first number, and now this cursor is blinking. That means it is waiting for us to input something. It is waiting for us to type something. So let's say we enter 10. So we enter 10, and then it says you have entered 10. So that means correct. So we entered 10 number, and it received the same number that we entered. So this is like 10. Now we want to add two numbers, right? So that's why we will ask user again for the same thing. Now we will say we want to have second number 2, and we will ask for the input from the user, and we will say enter second number. And then same thing, we can print and we can check if user has entered the correct number. So we will say you have entered and then number 2. So now it asks us for the first number. So let's say we give 10. It says you have entered 10, which is correct. We entered 10. Then it asks us to enter second number. So if we enter 20, it says you have entered 20. That means that's correct. So we have entered 10 and 20. So that means the input that we have given from here, my Python, our Python program is getting the same numbers. Okay. So the very last step here in the in this program is to add two numbers, right? So now we have number 1 that user has entered, which is number 1, and the second number user has entered is number 2. Okay. So usually how exactly do we add two numbers is like irrespective of any programming language. So in general, we usually say 10 plus 20, right? Even on calculator or even on pen and paper. So we do 10 plus 20. So similarly, even here, Python uses the same mathematical operations or same mathematical operators that we use in real life. So to add two numbers, we need to use a plus operator. Okay, so we can print the number, we can print the addition of these two numbers. So we can say print, and then we can say addition is, and then we need to add two numbers. So two numbers is, first number is number 1. So we know it already. So number 1, and then we will use the simple arithmetic operator, which is plus, to add two numbers. So this is number 1 plus, and then number 2. So this number 2 is the second number that user has entered. So this print should print the statement that addition is number 1 plus number 2. So whatever user will enter number 1, whatever value user will enter with first number and with second number, the addition of these two numbers will be printed here. So we can see addition here with addition is, and then number 1 plus number 2. So this should ideally print the addition of the two numbers. So if we run the code, and now we need to first enter the first number. So first, let's say we want to add 10, then we want to, okay, so first number 10, we need to enter second number 20. Okay, so it says addition is 10, 20 because it concatenated these two. So what exactly happened is we missed one step here. So we need to do something like, so we need to store this sum somewhere. So we need to do sum equal to number 1. So we need to add two numbers first, and then we need to print. So we will do number 1 plus number 2, and then we will print the sum here. So if we run it again, now 10, second number is 20. Okay, again it says the same thing. So the reason that it is printing 10 and 20 is it is concatenating two numbers. It is assuming that 10 is a string. So string is as in, so it is assuming that 10 is alphabet. So 10 is alphabet and even 20 is alphabet. So that's why instead of adding 10 plus 20, it is just concatenating two numbers. Like it is treating them as alphabets. So that's why we can see 10 and 20. So in order to make it number, or in order to add these two numbers, we need to do something like this, where we will make sure that this 10 is treated as number, not as string or not as alphabet, and again for the same second number. So now when we run it, so this time it should print, okay, I think we are missing something. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's a step that we are missing where, so because we are accepting this number from the user, so this number is treated as a number, as alphabet, not as a number. So let's say without accepting the input from the user, if we do it like manually, so if we say that the first number is 10 and if we say the second number is 20, let's add a comment so that this is just a note for us. So this input is now just a note for us, and even this print and this print is just a note for us. And now when we try to add these two numbers, the addition is 30, because when we accept the input from the user, so that input can be a string, so it can be any alphabet or any series of alphabet from A to Z and 1 to 10. So everything is treated as a string or alphabet, so not as a number. So to convert the number, we need to do a few steps, but the motive of this exercise is to add two numbers. And even if we need to input accept the input from the user, it is just you to use the input. That's it. Like it's as simple as that. I think.
Great. Well,
this should be good.
Yeah, thank you very much. And that's a great example. And I hope everyone else watching along got a feel for what Python is and how it all works. So it's as you said, it's one of the more straightforward languages, but it seems quite universal, being used by many companies and also being used for many different things. So as I said, if you do have any questions, I don't think any came through, people just watching along in the chat. But if you do have any follow-up questions with us, you can get us on info@dublincoding.ie. So maybe just a bit about the course. So it's going to be happening next month. I believe we have scheduled in, is it for the 22nd of November for the first one of these. And it runs for 5 weeks. We'll be doing them again in the new year. And Dipali will be leading the course. And of course, we've mentioned also a full stack web development lead at Rent the Runway, the American platform, but also a lecturer at Dublin Coding School. So if you do want to check out that course and any other of our courses, you can see them at dublincoding.ie. And you can also get us at info@dublincoding.ie if you want to email in with all of that. And the course costs $9.99. So maybe I'd like to say at this point, thank you very much. Thank you to Dipali as well for joining us and for going through the slides and also giving that great example of some coding in action. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Luke. Bye.